Hey guys, Marie-Louise here. And are you actually taking advantage of the time you have when you're single to prepare for your dating life? This came up last night on Married at First Sight, which has happened a lot, but last night in particular. So I've held off making this video because I wanted to have a really great example. And Cyrell's behaviour last night was perfect, a perfect example. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Marie-Louise and I'm the lifestylist. So I'm a dating coach. So I give you all the benefits, all the lessons I've learned from the mistakes that I've made and those that my clients and everybody else who comes to talk to me have made. And you know, I'm highly qualified in this regard. I've been married and divorced and I've been dating before that and after that. So I know all about dating and I can help you. So last night on Married at First Sight, Cyrell had this huge bunny and she cracked it, and you know, all her anger issues came out. It's not the first time. We actually saw some of this in previous episodes, and we also saw a little bit of it in the very first episode that we met her on, where she was telling her family she was going into the experiment, and she and her brother had this huge argument in front of the whole family. And it's not just an argument, it is really yelling. It's very, very aggressive. She's got this gravelly voice too, which makes it even more aggressive sounding. But last night, she ripped the heads off several people who were also in the experiment, including her husband. And what this tells me is that she went into this experiment unprepared. I don't see how she could possibly have thought that having that kind of anger issue, or the way she deals with these sorts of things, I don't see how she could go into this experiment thinking that would not come up sooner or later, that aggression and the way she deals with issues would not come up. So it just goes to show she has not dealt with her issues before she went in. And you know what, it's something I see time and time again. I have singles who come to me and they say, Marie-Louise, you know, I've been single for so long now and I can't figure out why I can't meet somebody. I don't know what's going on. And when I ask them about their previous relationships and how they ended and why they ended, you know, they invariably start saying, oh, because my ex did this, and oh, because my ex did that, because of this. And it's always quite negative. It's never, you know, something that's, you know, something, I don't know, it's always really negative, and they get straight on to blaming somebody else. More often than not, after that, when we get talking further, it is sometimes something that they could have fixed. So, you know, such as Cyrell, her anger issues really could have been worked on and addressed, so that she can deal with people and deal with them in such a way that she's not the aggressor all the time. Hey guys, make sure you give me a thumbs up when you join in, please. So what I try to say to people is that if you're going into a situation like that, and if you guys are single and you're looking, you're going into dating. So you wouldn't do that unprepared. You would use this time to prepare, or so you should. See, I consider this time, whether you're actually dating actively or whether you're just looking and you haven't actually found people to start dating yet, I consider this pre-season. So if you're a sporting fan, you'll understand what pre-season's about. It's when you get your body in shape, you get your mindset all organised, you might meet the team if you haven't already been playing with them. You know, there's all this work that you do ahead of time. You don't just go and start playing the first game of the season without practicing and without planning, without training, without conditioning. So it's the same with dating. There are many things you can do. Now, back in real world, if you were looking for a house, you would, let's say actually, if you're looking for a hobby, if you're starting a hobby, maybe one you haven't done for a while, you wouldn't sign up for a competition straight away. You would actually pick up the brush and start painting, and you would get some practice in. You would, you know, learn, you would do all sorts of things. There are things that you would be doing. You would be conditioning yourself, getting yourself ready so that you can get, when you do hit the ground running, you know what you're doing. You're prepared. You don't have to worry about fixing things as they come up, because things do come up, but you don't want things like Cyrell's anger issue coming up and you're unprepared for that. So say if you're buying a house or if you're looking for somewhere to live, you wouldn't buy or rent the first house you found. You would do a little research. And why is that? Because you're going to be living in that house for a while. It's an investment. So is dating. The best investment you can make ever is into yourself. You really need to be investing. And I think that preparing yourself for dating is essential. So when people are saying to me that they can't find somebody, it's so familiar. I tell you, I hear the same thing a lot, and it's something that can be fixed. I always recommend a few things. There are ways you can do this. So they should reflect. They should look back on the relationships and the dating experiences that they've had, and think about what went wrong, what could have been fixed, maybe things that could have been avoided. Some of the time it's things like that they need to work on themselves. So consider what you might need to improve on for yourself, such as anger issues, aggression with Cyrell. If you're not happy with the way you look at the moment and you don't feel like you're coming across as your best self, then this is the time to work on it. Because you can't blame other people for not liking you if you don't actually like yourself, and if you're not actually being able to present your best self to the world. And also, guys, if you're a 4 and you're looking for a 10, think about what that person who's a 10 is looking for. Do you think they're actually looking for a 4? No. They're probably looking for a 10 as well. So think about that, because how are you going to attract the 10 if you're still a 4? And if you've got the attitude of a 4, then it's just not likely to happen anyway. If you have a job that you're not happy with, if your lifestyle isn't what you want, if you're working really long hours, job in particular though, I must say, if you have a job that you hate, then that's going to show. That is exactly the sort of thing that comes across when you're having conversations online, when you meet somebody out and about and they say, what's your job, or what do you do? And you're like, oh, I just do this. And they're like, oh. It shows that you're not very ambitious. Not that you have to have, you don't have to be the CEO of a company. But if you're staying in a job that you don't like, that says a lot. And that is exactly the sort of thing that they're going to think about you. And that's going to become their impression of you. So 5 minutes later when you ask them out on a date, do you think they're going to say yes? Maybe not. You need to get your mindset right. If you're constantly thinking about the past, and if you're taking your past into the future, that's a big deal. Because a lot of the people that I talk to, they are bitter about their past. They're living in the past, and I'll tell you what, they're living in the hurt. They're taking it with them into their next relationship. So if you find that you're on a date and you're talking about your ex and all the dramas, you probably need to take a break from dating. It's really not a good place to do that. This next person is not your sounding board. They want to know what happened, but they don't need to know the nitty-gritty. They do not need to know all the details. So you'll have to come up with a story that you're prepared to tell that doesn't and I'm not saying that you should lie, there's no bullshit, but you have to be prepared for telling them something that will also make you kind of look good. It's like a job interview. You're not going to tell them you got sacked. You're going to say that you left, or you're going to say that the company decided that they had to change directions or something. There'll be a way of saying it, but please don't lie. Do not bullshit to somebody. Lying is not the way to start off a relationship. And there are 2 more, so hold out. And the second last one is get your standards right. Now, your standards are about you and what you will stand for and what you will accept in dating and what you'll accept in a relationship. If you have certain expectations of how a date should go, or how you want to be treated, then great, that is fine. You have to stick to them, because if you don't have any standards, then you'll be just wandering through dating life, wondering why you get stuck with the same people all the time, wondering why you can't meet anybody, wondering why you're having a shit experience, because you actually aren't choosing. You're just going on dates with whoever. But you need to be in control of this stuff, and you can be in control of your dating life as much as possible. And by getting your standards in line, and this is a personal thing, you have to do it for yourself. We could discuss that, but it's a sort of thing that you'll decide based on your previous experiences and what you expect for yourself and for the future. And the very lucky last one is hire a dating coach. My God, guys, we are out there, not just me, there are plenty of us out there, and we're here to help. What you're doing so far isn't working. It really isn't, obviously. So enlist help. Don't just enlist your friends, because your friends have ulterior motives and they've got their own experiences. They don't necessarily know all the ins and outs of you, and they also don't know dating. Not necessarily. They know dating from their experience, but if they're bitter about it, if they had a bad dating experience, they're going to say, don't go online. Well, you know what? Online might be perfect for you. So go to somebody who's unbiased about your life. Go to someone who's not going to be jealous when you find the person that you want to be with, because sometimes friends are jealous. And so go to find a dating coach wherever you live and get their help. Now, I'm in Melbourne, but I work all over Australia. I do most of my consultations via Zoom, actually. So I'm available, and it's a sort of thing that will actually skyrocket your dating life, because we all have different skills. We also all do it a little bit differently. We also have different goals. What I like to do is help you to get the skills to date and communicate and live your life for the rest of your life. That's why my business is called Lifestyling, because I help you style your whole life so that your dating life is amazing. And to do that, we break shit down. We make dating decisions really, really simple. And it is simple. I don't have any cares or worries about dating, because I know what I want and I make it really simple. So if you have found any value in this video, please make sure you give a thumbs up, give me the big heart, share it with your friends, and leave a big comment. I want to hear all about your dating life. What are you doing to prepare yourself for the big game, which is dating? What are you doing in this single time to prepare? Because this is the best time. I don't want you to come to me later and say, oh, I didn't realize I was still a bit about that. No, I didn't realize I was carrying around the divorce and, you know, my breakup, and I'm really upset still about things that happened in my childhood. Now's the time to sort that out. And later on, when you say, oh, you know, I was overweight and I didn't realize that it was affecting my dating life, or, you know, this guy said that I complain about my work too much. Yeah, you probably do. Yeah, but this is the sort of thing that we can take on now and fix. And in fact, when you think back about other dates you've had in the past, think about the feedback you've gotten, because that is a key. People are not just necessarily being mean or judgmental. You maybe don't fit into their life because of what you're saying and doing, but you can still use that as impetus to push you further in your dating life, and it might be something you can just tweak a little bit and away you go. Alright, I'm going to go. I'll catch you really soon. Make sure you give us a thumbs up and a heart, and I will catch you next time. See ya.